Co-op Mode, round 77. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, joined by the Canadian Mark Carabin, the Atlantic King.
I never know how you're going to introduce me or what you're going to say. It's something with Atlantis or Atlantic or something, or just some random video game tie-in. So how you doing, Todd?
Very, very good. Energized. Feels like we haven't done this in a long time, Mark, but I know we do it every 2 weeks. But It's always a refreshing time. And we are joined by returning Co-op Mode couch buddy, and that is Mr. Brock Mclaughlin from Spin Master Games at Brockstar. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I just came from boxing, so I got punched in the gut a few times. So, feeling a little hurt, but I'm happy to be here.
Mark feels like that after every episode of this podcast.
Feeling punched. Yeah, last time you guys saying you both skipped Metroid, that was a punch in the gut. That was severe.
I still haven't played Metroid.
For like what? Come on. You did this to me on purpose, didn't you, Todd?
Honestly, like my Switch year in review came in, and I was like, wow, I did not touch this thing at all. There's a reason why there's like a foot of dust on it.
You're killing me.
It increased from last year for me, but I think last year Ring Fit was my top game. Because of my shoulder surgery, I couldn't even get back into Ring Fit. So yeah, it was an interesting time. But Mark, I played it, and I will give it another go.
See, I thought my Switch time, the year in review thing, I thought that was like pretty severe because it dropped significantly. And I was like, like kid and new Xbox and all that kind of stuff kind of keeping me away from Switch. Then I saw yours, and I felt good about myself. So thanks, Todd.
I had like 34 hours. Yeah.
I used it for some more Animal Crossing and I'm forgetting the one thing I played. Oh, a ton of oh my god, I'm just blanking now. What was a big game that came? Oh, Pokemon Snap.
Oh yes, that was my most played game of the year.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
And it wasn't even that much.
No.
Gotta snap them all. Did you snap them all?
I didn't. I haven't gone back and played the DLC yet. I need to do that.
It's good. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I find it's a good game to go back to because then it kind of feels fresh again. Like if you played it like the first and you just kind of ran through and it was the same course every time and, little things changed or whatever. But I find when you go back to it, it's just like, it's a good game to go back to because you're like, oh yeah, right. How do I get this Pokemon to do that stupid thing again? So it's probably worth revisiting. That's it.
And it's not like it's not like I forget the controls. It's pretty simple.
Right where you were. You have to you remember all the side stories and all this background.
Right. Like if I tried to pick up even The Witcher 3, I stopped playing that for a bit and I picked that up again. I'm like, I don't remember how to do anything or what I'm supposed to be doing. Let's start again from the beginning.
Oh boy. And Mark, you didn't get that awesome Pikachu camera, did you? That had the printer?
The Pikachu printer? Not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to give that a not yet because you just never know what I'm going to see in a store and be like, oh, I have that amount of dollars. Let's buy this stupid thing. Like I was telling Brock before we started, I just ordered a Mandalorian helmet. So it was like I saw it go up online. I was like, yeah, I have that much money. Let's do this. And it'll arrive tomorrow. So there we go.
You know what? Finn didn't need a college education anyways.
No, he's good.
It's overrated.
Yeah.
It's overrated.
Just get him developing Roblox games. He'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whale hunting. I think that's what they do off the coast of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we protect whales, dude. Wow. Protect whales.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. No, it's poacher hunting. That's what I was thinking. There you go.
That's the one.
There you go. Well, shifting from, I guess, a less evil topic than endangered species and things like that, we're going to talk about the holidays are coming up, and we normally do buy, rent, return with games. But this time I thought, let's turn it around. Let's go back to Blockbuster. Let's see what's on the shelves and see what we're going to get this week. So this week in buy, rent, return, picking holiday themed movies: Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, or Elf?
God, that's such a good question.
Great choices. Brock, you want to tackle this one first?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm buying Elf. Man, I love that movie. Everyone loves that movie. I think it's so classic, and I feel like it's really the last timeless Christmas movie we've gotten. I can't think of anything that would compare. I know we're like racking our brains. I'm like that's
Yeah,
the
no, I
last
think
like
you're right.
really big one that's like family friendly,
Mhm.
and it's like span generations at this point because it's what 20 years old probably at this point. I think it came out the same year as the first Lord of the Rings. So like we're all aging ourselves here. I love like Elf is great. I'd follow that with Home Alone, probably Rent, and I'd forget Vacation. And mainly just because like Chevy Chase is like such a dickhead now that I just can't like
Yeah.
it's hard to go back and watch him after like knowing what's come out of his mouth like through the years and on set of like Community and stuff. So yeah, it kind of ruined it for me. And like it was just after my time or just before my time really. So like don't have like the same connection with it.
Yeah.
I will recommend something newer that is animated, so it'd be more of a special that Disney created, Prep and Landing. It is one of my favorite Christmas things of all time. It's about the elves that prep the houses for Santa. So basically, like they're a forward elf squad, and it is so good. Love it. Watch it. There's 3 shorts. There's 3 specials. 2 are like 20 minutes long, and 1 is like 9 minutes long. And Betty, blanking her name, Betty White plays Miss Claus. So there you go.
Okay, I don't know how to see this movie.
It's on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus. It's computer animated. It's wonderful.
That's great. Apparently, there's a Ted Lasso Christmas special that just dropped today too.
Oh, really? There was the Christmas episode, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay,
it's like a claymation short. No.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's claymation, just like the start of that Christmas episode that was in the last season. So,
very cool.
That should be interesting. Okay, so for these 3, despite everything with Chevy Chase, I'm leaning towards keeping Christmas Vacation just because, like, growing up, my sister and brother and I just absolutely loved that movie, and like it was just like the thing that we did and quoted from like the day after Remembrance Day. It was just like, or like Veterans Day for anyone in the States. Like that was it. It was like the next day and it was like, hey, shitter was full. Like, just like, that was just it. Like, it's just, and like my sister, like even just like a week ago, just like sent me a picture of her cats. And it was like the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the North Pole or something, whatever it was. Like, right. I think I have to buy Christmas Vacation, rent Elf for the exact same reasons that Brock just listed. And it was a toss up between which one I did kind of want to. I'm picking this just to be different than Brock, to be honest. So I'll return Home Alone. I love the first Home Alone. Like, you can't, come on, like it's a child version of Die Hard. Like you can't get much better than that. Like, these are 3 great movies. Like, just watch them all.
My favorite part of like that, like Home Alone, is just, Joe Pesci is trying not to swear the entire time at like Kevin McAllister. Like, he's holding back the F-bomb so bad. He wants to say it. There must be outtakes where he drops some swears.
Full Pesci.
The director's cut of that movie where he just goes completely bonkers and they don't bleep anything out. That'd be great.
Whatever happened to Daniel Stern? That guy was like in City Slickers, Home Alone, and then you never saw him again. It was so weird. Such a weird career.
He secured the money and disappeared into the sunset.
Apparently.
That's the way to do it. Todd, what are your choices here?
Mark, I hate to say this, but I'm going to mirror yours. And my Twitter handle updated to Todd Danny F-E-K Oxtra. So you know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, Christmas Vacation has a very special place in my heart. The whole Vacation series, it was something my dad and I shared. I was too young to see Vacation in the theaters with the lady parts. And then we saw everyone together, and my dad passed away. And this is one of the last movies we saw together that was holiday themed. So it's got a very special place in my heart. And it just made my dad laugh his ass off. And yes, Chevy Chase is very problematic, but it's one of those things where it's like it's just very hard for me to separate the movie and the character. I do, Clark Griswold is Clark Griswold, and Chevy Chase is just Chevy Chase. So but yeah, he's definitely a jerk because I was a huge Community fan. I'm like, oh my god, what a jerk. Then I'm going to Elf once again. I don't know what else there's to say about it, but it is. If you get a chance, the movies that made us, they did Home Alone, they did Elf. So watch those; they're fantastic. Oh yeah, they're both great. Yeah. So fantastic.
It's funny that Elf was like filmed in Vancouver partially, which I never knew until watching that documentary. Like I'm from Vancouver, and I had no idea it was filmed there.
Wow,
so many good things. I didn't know narwhals existed until that movie came out. I thought they were fake. Like, what is this? And it's my son's favorite animal, so there you go. And then Home Alone last. I mean, it's still a good movie, but it's just one of those movies that I'm not as close to. But I totally get it. It was very fun. That was the heart of the Macaulay Culkin era. I loved that kid, and just so much fun. I will say though, it's much better than Home Sweet Home Alone, which that movie.
Is that the new one?
It's the new one on Disney Plus. Yeah.
I had to turn that one off.
Oh, I haven't even started it. It was like, yeah, not for me. Like, look, maybe that's for.
I watched a lot of Hallmark movies, and I couldn't handle even that one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's got a good cast too. That's the sad part. But yeah, right? Annoying British kid. First mistake. Yeah. Pick a better actor.
Yeah, was not feeling it. And like, this is my secret. I love Hallmark movies. Like, love them. I think they're hilarious to watch.
Oh, there's so many now. It's so awesome, and I love it. I will say there's an episode of The Simpsons that came out last season where they filmed a Hallmark movie in Springfield. It is so amazing because they hit all the tropes.
I need to watch this immediately.
So did you see the one where
watching that?
Did you see the one where the girl comes back to her small town from the big city, and she finds love?
Oh, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah, it's the guy she didn't even realize all along.
Oh my goodness! Yes, I think I did see that one back in the day. Yeah,
the CEO of a big company, and she left that all behind for a guy who wears overalls in a small town.
Oh my god, I'm so glad.
Did she make specialty jams at a small shop? Was that her go-to?
Yeah, that's the new career path.
That's what we have to do next time, Mark. We'll do a topic that's all about our favorite guilty pleasures. I think we have to do that with gaming. Yeah, very good. So let's talk about games, because this is a gaming podcast. We're not watching Halloween, Christmas movies, things like that, drinking eggnog out of Wally World little mugs. We're playing games. So Brock, I have you as guest here. I'll update that. What have you been playing?
A lot of Halo, like so much Halo. I'm obsessed. It's just such a fun game. It definitely has some glaring problems, especially in the single player mode. But it's just so fun, and like I could just like lean back into the couch, sink right in, and just spend hours playing it, which I haven't really been doing with any other game in quite a bit. Despite how many games have like dropped this fall, I'm like overwhelmed with how many things came out. Like Gunk's on my radar for tomorrow. I want to check that out, despite its just awful name. And then otherwise, like Forza, I keep going back to Forza 2. It really feels like a copy paste of the last few years, and doesn't really do anything new or different. But it's just, again, like just a really fun, visually beautiful game.
Forza surprisingly plays very well with cloud gaming, and I got myself a Razer Kishi for my phone. It was really enjoyable. It played very well, and it scales very well. So if you want to play more when you have nothing else to do, right? Exactly. Try it out there. It's highly playable.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Anything else, Brock, or just inundated with those two?
Else, man, I'm blanking now. I keep going through different games and checking them out, but nothing's really stood out. Like just totally enamored with Halo. Oh, unpacking. I did that one night. That was like really relaxing. I'm clearly like in the holiday spirit and want to be relaxed. And so like I'm looking for things like that. Unpacking was really, really cool. But yeah. I'm curious in what other people have been playing, because honestly, like I need so much time off coming up. Like I'm going to be playing some more games.
Sadly, I don't have much else other than Halo as well. That game's been really taking over the new season of Fortnite a bit for me as well. The new chapter of Fortnite, really. So they just started chapter 3. I mentioned last time that I expected the game to go down for a couple of days, but it was like less than 24 hours this time, which was cool. And a whole new chapter featuring The Rock and a crazy cinematic chapter end / season start. It was there's some crazy stuff going on in Fortnite, man. But now there's Spider-Man gloves, because Spider-Man's the secret character, one of the top characters in the season pass, and the traversal with like the Spider-Man gloves is superb. I heard it's even better than Marvel's Avengers, although I haven't played the PlayStation version of that, so I can't attest to it myself.
I believe it. That game is so stiff. Yeah. I really want to go back to Fortnite. I was obsessed with Fortnite for so long, but I'm scared because I don't want to get addicted to it again, man. Honestly, like I have things to do and other games to play, and like I'm worried. But goddamn, it looks so good.
Yeah. It's the new chapter. I'm really enjoying it, although I haven't jumped in as much as I probably would like to because of Halo, and it's just really. Yeah.
So was Spider-Man like free? Is he the first character you get, or do you have to buy the season pass?
No, yeah, you got to get the season pass, and then he's like the top tier character. So like,
at the very end,
like hit level 100. Yeah.
Oh shit! So like, I would have bought it if you were like the first character just in case, like I go back. But like,
yeah,
I gotta grind that out.
Yeah. You got homework.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to like hire some kid to play Fortnite. I'm only half joking. I had a friend used to play my account and then take care of all the things for me because I'm just rubbish at the game too.
You have a butler for gaming.
I'll find a kid. I'll go to some holiday parties, hang out with like the kids part of the party and be like, "Hey, do you play Fortnite? Jump on my account."
Not weird. That's not iffy at all.
Hold your account ransom, make you pay him in Bitcoin.
That's right.
Older man looking for small child to play. Not with, just do it on your own time.
Yeah.
Craigslist personals are coming back.
Yeah.
Craigslist gaming.
You're not going back to school. You're schooling from home again. So like you got lots of time.
Yeah. Boy. Wow.
So yeah, I've been really, aside from playing Fortnite by myself, not hiring people or kids to do it, but that is a brilliant idea. Halo and I have been playing finally a bit of the N64 games on Switch Online because I just picked up the Hyperkin Admiral 64 controller. If you guys don't know what this looks like, yeah. It is. It's a weird name. Hyperkin's the company, and then the Admiral 64. But it looks like a modern controller. So it doesn't have like the weird like 3-tiered like squid arm kind of thing that most N64 controllers have. The thumbstick feels a little bit more modern and not like plate balancing on a toothpick kind of thing. So the real big test of this one, and the reason that I haven't put as much time into these games as I would like, is because the second that it actually worked, my wife stole it and played several hours of Ocarina of Time because that's her favorite game ever. And she loves it. So that was like the big test. Like if this can work for her, for Ocarina, this controller is legit. So if anyone's wondering if those work with Switch, I will add one caveat to that, is make sure that the controller that you buy was manufactured after November of 2020. Because there's a firmware update. It might be back now, but the firmware update was actually removed from the Hyperkin website. So the first controller I bought from a local place here did not work. Would not, like the buttons were all mapped weird. It wouldn't connect to the Switch properly. So I returned that one. They let me swap it out. I made sure on the bottom of the box it was like 2020. Didn't say a month, of course, of manufacturing, but I was like, forget, I'll take a chance. And this one works. It just like connects and the buttons map and it's perfect. So, if you're like me and you are not having a lot of luck with like the button mapping for, and Todd, we've talked about this one, like,
oh yeah,
the Switch modern controller button mapping with the C sticks, especially for something like Ocarina. For like Mario Kart, it's fine. But like with Banjo Kazooie coming up, like you need those C buttons. Like you just need them. So this will work because Nintendo hasn't restocked their actual wireless N64 controllers. So like this one just works. You can get them on Amazon. I got them from a local place, Atomic Records, for anyone in Cape Breton that's listening. Yeah, this controller is pretty awesome. I kind of love it. I'm probably going to go buy another one so I can actually use one instead.
It says the update is back up, Mark. The weird part is requires a Windows 10 PC to do so, though.
When I saw that, I was like, I don't even have that. And then I tried.
No, you don't have that.
No, and I tried to run Parallels to get Windows, and it would only let me install Windows 11. And I was just like, nuts to this. I'm just like gonna swap it out and hope the new one works. And the new one works. So that's it. But I'm
Kudos,
sure I can find a Windows 10 PC if I like really want
Well, Windows, it should work for Windows 11. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much all compatible.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just couldn't be bothered. I was just like, you know what? Swap it out. So yeah, there we go.
Nintendo's got to make everything complicated, man.
Yeah.
Got to upgrade that Switch for firmware upgradable compatibility.
Yeah, I needed something else to collect dust around here.
Well, it sounds like it's their Bluetooth protocol, Mark. I think that's been Nintendo uses some weird protocols sometimes.
No. That part's Nintendo, but I mean like the weird firmware update stuff, like because like other controllers just work, right? Like I've had 8-bit controllers, and if they have a firmware update, like they worked on my Mac, they just kind of like. It's easy to do. It's not like you need a Windows 10 PC with this kind of like, it's just weird. Right. And like I said, I was reading that the driver was a broken link on the website or something. So I just said, screw it and kind of swapped it out. But yeah, when the controller works, highly recommend so far anyway.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And not having the third leg hasn't destroyed your gaming fun.
No, so far the only thing is just getting used to like where the Z or the Z button is. So that was like for targeting in Zelda, you have to hit that, and it's kind of like the L2 button. So at first I kind of like I wanted to hit R and L, and then I was like, no, that's not right. So then I hit like the L2 or whatever. So anyway, aside from that, like it maps perfectly, and it's just a more modern. I wish I had it here, like I could show in the video version, but I don't. So maybe like fire a picture up and just show people how different it looks. But it's pretty good.
I knew the guy who did the video editing.
I know. Yeah, I'll maybe.
Is he the same kid that plays Fortnite for me?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one. That kid gets around.
Old Johnny does this for us. Yes. Yep. That's right. Well, I also played Halo Infinite, and I'm playing it on. When I finally got to play it, I went through I did all the pre-install to play it on PC and then when I went to play it, nothing was downloaded or installed. I'm like, what is this? So finally got it taken care of. Yeah. And I went to Chicago. So like that weekend. So I'm like, can I play a little bit before I go to Chicago? Which I eventually did. Have it on Series S, have it on my gaming PC. And it's great because it does the cloud saves and the cross saves, which is great. Pick up and play, which I hope in the future that all games do that, because that is so fantastic. Such a quality of life. It doesn't matter where you play it. If you got the game, let me continue. And it looks great on Series S, looks great on PC. I played it with controller on PC, so I'm a heretic, I think. But I had a great time. I'm at the point where it really opens up. I guess once you get off the ship and you do your first destination, that's where I'm at. So I'm still very early in the game, and still getting used to the weapons. I love the trying to remember the name. It's the claw. It's the
like the grapple
hook or grapple thing, whatever the grapple. That is so much fun, and it adds so much more scalability. You can go up on things. You can go towards enemies. You can grab weapons with it. I know in some of the multiplayer and things like that, and probably when you get into the game, the fact that you can use that to get into vehicles and take people out, it's just a great addition. I love the fact that you can pick up pretty much any of those blue barrels things or whatever they are, or the different colors, and just toss them at people, shoot them in the air. And it feels like this was the natural direction that Halo was always tended to go, and you can kind of see what Bungie did with Destiny, and now you get to see what 343 is doing with this. So it's very cool. Like I said, I'm very early on, so I'm not giving it a full review or anything. I did notice the animation for some of the cutscenes is a little funky. Like the pilot sometimes is a little too, he's a little too spastic. I'm like, ooh, his facial animation is a little off at times. So I'm like, not sure what's that. I've heard that the cutscenes are locked at 30 FPS for some reason, which seems kind of silly. But I still think it's cool that this game is out. It's free to play if you have Game Pass. I'm enjoying it. I am trying to find the weapons I like the most, because I feel like none of the weapons have really this is my weapon yet. So I'm waiting to find that one, because obviously the cool things you do when the enemies have shields, that energy shields, you usually have to use an energy weapon to disrupt them. And then you have to kind of play with your weapons. You're always switching, always reloading. And it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun. I just found out, I saw a video online, and you can throw the plasma and then use the force push thing to send the plasma farther and hit people, do crazy shots with it and stuff. It's wild. The things we're gonna see out of this game in a few weeks when people really master it are just gonna be epic.
Yeah. Even that first mission, Todd, like you said, just before you actually get out in the open and stuff, there were so many moments in that just had me smiling and just being like, this is just so much exactly what I wanted, of just badass Space Marine goes through everything with one bullet and makes it work. It's so good.
I do wish it really just kind of abruptly starts though, and doesn't really fill in the blanks at all. There seems like there should have been backstory that was never touched on. It just was I don't know. It's I was so confused. I'm this is not the end of Halo 5. I'm where are we? Maybe we'll get there if I keep playing the game, and you never do. And you're that's just a weird way to start things.
Yeah, it's been 6 years since the last game, so they know a lot of people, this is their first Halo game, and not everybody is a lore hound where they're going to go back and observe everything. And Halo does one thing that I just hate. They use a lot of proper nouns and things, you have to know this race and this thing and this thing. It's it's so dense at times. It's what am I doing? Oh, I'm shooting those guys. That's what I'm doing. I don't care about anything else. And eventually something will happen. And yeah.
It's definitely overly complicated for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering if, picking it up the way they did, I was kind of wondering if that was them aiming at a soft reboot. You don't need to know the history, but then they go straight into the history 2 seconds after. And it's oh shit. I'm lucky I kind of caught back up on some of this stuff. Yeah. But anyone coming in, even relatively new or casual, is just going to be what's going on? Okay, never mind. I guess I'm going to shoot this guy in the face and hope it doesn't matter later.
The whole game hinges on knowing the last few games.
Yep. Who is Cortana? I don't know. I mean, they just toss her out there. Who's this old lady you're seeing in visions? I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah.
There's a few things I know I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's definitely a few things that stood out. I'm oh, that's annoying. But I mean, overall, it is really fun, and it's definitely a good step for the franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as I continue the campaign. I looked at how long to beat, and it looks just to beat the campaign, not do the side quests, it's 10, 15 hours. But if you want to do everything, 50 hours. So your mileage may vary with the side quests and everything, because this is an open world game. I haven't gotten to the open world part of it yet, so I'm just there. So more to come. Mark, have you?
I just got there. I've been so wrapped up in multiplayer that I really just I played the first mission, got a little bit out onto that first, where it first starts to kind of open up, and you're just kind of going, and I kind of mucked about for a bit, and then I was just yeah, I kind of want to go back and like play some more Slayer. So that was that was it for me. Like that was, I really want to get back to the story, but like anytime I find a free hour or something, I'm like story multiplayer, let's go multiplayer, let's do this. So yeah.
Well, another game I have played, and Mark, I wanted to thank you. You reached out to the publisher, and you got a game for me called Firegirl. This is from Thunderful Publishing. You know, we like Thunderful. Dejima is the one who is the developer, and wow, this one was on my radar because it has such a unique visual style. But essentially, this is I don't even know what the best to do. Basically, you're a firefighter, and you're using your fire person tools to rescue people, but the fire is almost like demons, and you use the water is like almost like think of like the flood in Super Mario Galaxy or Sunshine. So you can use it to move up and traverse and do different things like that. You have enemies coming from all over the place, and it's a roguelike. And you basically are going in to save so many people or cats, and then you have to leave the building in 3 minutes, and you can get timer upgrades, which is nice, and then but you have 3 minutes, and it's a roguelike. So every time you die, it's completely changed. It's randomly generated, and I am having a good time, but I've yet to escape. Because I'm like, crap, how do I get out of here? Because it's different every time. And then you want to complete it. And then if you die, but basically if you rescue them, you get money that fund you. You get followers because I guess you're a celebrity firefighter. And then you get penalized and get a hospital bill if you die. And so then you go back to the fire hall, and you can pay money for upgrades. It's got a funny, goofy story it's fun. And then you have a shop you can go to as well. But the funny part was I thought it was going to be just this. But then the next time I go in, I'm actually rescuing people from a runaway a subway or like a above ground train as well. And that changed things up completely. So I'm like, how many more of these things are there? So very random, very interesting. But the art style is very cool. It's like a 16-bit, but it uses 3D backgrounds that kind of rotate a little bit. It's very cool. I highly recommend it. It's only on PC now. It will be on consoles in 2022. But man, it's addictive. I'm bad at it, but it is very fun. Like I said, at 3 minutes max, or maybe a little bit more if you have power. It's very quick in, quick out. So it doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And I'm not sure what else is ahead of me, but it's really cool. Very cool game.
That's awesome, man.
It was definitely not on my radar.
It's been on mine for a while, and it reminded me, like, a first glance, reminded me of like Mighty Switch Force or Switch Force from Way Forward. And I love that game. And that one's more like rescuing people as like a police officer kind of thing, but you're like solving world puzzles and like trying to figure out how to get to the platform where the people are and like how to get them out of whatever situation. So I'm glad the gameplay in this sounds like really different, and like it's a very vastly different game, but like that first caught my eye because I really liked Mighty Switch Force, and yeah, I'm really even more intrigued now that I hear you talk about it. So I can't wait for this to come out for some more platforms. I think it's hitting all consoles, like you said, next year. So it's going to be something to look forward to for sure.
The next game I play, which is not really a game, it's more of an experience that has some light gameplay. That's the Matrix Unreal Engine 5 experience. This came out for Xbox Series S and X, I believe, and PlayStation 5, not on PC. It's like 30 gigs. It's huge. But it's like 15 minutes of gameplay. But quite honestly, if you really like wandering around a like made up city that's done in Unreal Engine 5, and you want to just be a peeping Tom and look into every window in a high rise, this is the game for you, because you could just do it all day and visit the city. It's really cool. It opens up with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, and and you realize, oh, that's not them. That's just their Unreal Engine 5 version of them. And they do that where they show the old Neo, and then they show the young Neo. and they show Keanu, and it's very cool. And then it dumps you into a car chase where you've got a new Matrix hero with you who's doing some live training, and you've got agents that are chasing you. And then you realize, oh, you actually get to fire and shoot out like tires as the agents are coming for you. You get to use a gun to shoot out a helicopter. And that's only like 3 minutes long, very quick. And then you go into the cityscape where you can walk around, interact. And what the cool thing is they show you all the effects and capabilities of Unreal Engine 5 as you're doing it. Like you push a button to show you how the effects change and how the city has moved and what Unreal Engine 5 is going to bring to gaming. Because quite honestly, we're using a lot of old engines currently still that aren't really meant to maximize what this hardware can do. We do have the new Halo engine, Slipstream, that's coming out. And I think some of the newer games, I think like Returnal, maybe Deathloop, are using new engines maybe. But Unreal Engine 5 is very, very capable. It's going to be very exciting. And I believe Fortnite is the first game using Unreal Engine 5 too, which is just unbelievable. But that's Epic. They make Unreal Engine, so why wouldn't they?
Yeah, correct. Like Epic went all in. That's a smart ass move on their part, eh?
Yeah.
I love that demo so much. It kicks so much ass. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I like couldn't believe at one point like it was digital characters and like you said, I loved how you can break it down and be like instantly shift from day to night or like see the polygons or see the AI models and like kind of how their path is going and like just all the amount of detail in this weird little tech demo was so wild. And I've said it a few times, like Fortnite is one of the games, or if not the game, that I use to show off the power of the Series X, because you get like things like ray tracing and different things, and they're continuously adding things and turning things on. But the problem with that is you also have to be back compatible with someone playing on like a Switch or like a 15-year-old Android phone or whatever. Like it's so something like this where they can get photorealism was wildly impressive.
What's amazing, it wasn't on PC. That's the one thing that's really surprising. But I guess with Xbox Series X and S and PS5, they've got a set of specs that they can definitely plan to, which makes it easier to really highlight all those capabilities, those boxes, which is really cool. Yeah. And lastly, not something I played, but something I watched that I would highly recommend to those of us who are video game fans. That is 8-Bit Christmas. I believe it was on HBO Max. And it is essentially the Christmas story, or a Christmas story for our generation, because it's all about basically replace the Red Ryder BB gun with an NES. Neil Patrick Harris is telling his daughter about the year that the NES came out, maybe the year after, and he wanted an NES, and this is his story of how he got his NES. And it is a lot of fun. Steve Zahn plays the dad in the back in the story, and it's just fun. I really enjoyed it. It's very nostalgic, and if you are a fan of the NES, Nintendo, they go all in. It's set in that era. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Yes, it's cheesy. It's got all these things, but for 90 minutes, and it's a new holiday film that I could definitely relate to. That was little Todd Oxtra back in 1988. Full in on the NES.
For any Canadian listeners, that is on Crave. I know some of the HBO stuff doesn't end up on Crave, and some of it does, and Crave's all weird now with basically charging twice for their basic package kind of thing, but it bundles in the HBO stuff. Anyway, it is there. I just checked. So I'll have to watch that one.
Very good. Very good. Oh, well, that is what we've been playing. Now, I guess we're going back to what we watched, and not everybody watched this, but it was on TV last week, or streaming, and that is the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, not to be compared to any other Game Awards, because there's a million out there right now. And we had the winners of the awards, and then we had everything that was announced. I think the amount of time they spent on the winners was probably about 15 minutes out of the 3.5 hours that was spent. And I think they only truly presented to the actual nominees about 5 awards maximum, maybe. Yeah. And the rest of them were just, here's a list of names and who won. Didn't even show any faces, which was
They did
highly
a couple of those
problematic.
double up to thing, like this game also won this award and this award. Congrats, guys! Get off the stage so we can show another world premiere.
I think the whole thing is so cheesy. I don't like it. I don't like Jeff's whole thing. And like I work in marketing and advertising. I don't want to sit and watch commercials for 3 hours. Like it's like the Super Bowl if you didn't have any Super Bowl. It's just just had the commercials for like 3 hours.
They showed the highlights between the commercials.
And like I feel like it's just Jeff's weird thing to like meet celebrities and feel like cool. I don't know. The whole thing is just very odd to me, and like to not give any love to any of the developers is just so weird when that's what the whole thing is supposed to be about. And then you're sitting there like, praising Call of Duty and stuff, and like Activision, and you're like this seems very not good timing and just weird.
Mm-hmm.
And like I get why it hasn't become like a mainstream thing. It's very much just for like just games people only, and that's it. And like no one would really even know what's happening.
Yeah, it'd be like the Oscars only having, maybe 3 or 4 awards, and then it would just be trailers for the hottest movies that are coming out, and maybe not even this year, but in 3 years.
Right? Like, I don't know. Like, I know people get really excited to see game trailers, or like the game title cards, which is like my biggest pet peeve, where it's like fucking like 3 minutes of a black screen and then slowly in fades the title of the game, Elden Ring 2. You're like, okay, cool. I get nothing from this, but now a blog can post about it, and and I get a paycheck if I'm Jeff, for posting this video. Yeah, but it's like it's strange. There wasn't really like even like thinking back, like I didn't watch the show. I just kind of caught up on the highlights, but there's nothing like. Nothing's coming to mind like I'm like, whoa, I'm stoked on that. I like more of like Nintendo's indie thing they did today. Like I think that's more impressive and like a better love letter to actually indie games.
There seemed to be more buzz, and I haven't had a chance yet to watch the indie showcase, but I saw some things on Twitter and like some people talking about some of the games, and like there seemed to be more positive buzz after that 20-minute showcase than a 3.5 hour long game celebration, for lack of a better word, because award show seems kind of weird at this point. But like, so like obviously there's something that was missing from the Game Awards when a 20-minute indie showcase from Nintendo seemingly, I don't know, maybe it's just my circle or whatever, but like seemingly gets more hype around it. Like you said, with Activision, one of the big hype moments for me at first was Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah.
Big Star Wars fan, big video game fan. The trailer looked cool, although it was all CGI, so no gameplay or anything like that. And then Quantic Dream came up. And it's like, okay, one, what am I going to do? Smash the X button to yell, Yoda! Yoda! Over and over again? Or whatever, like what kind of game is this going to be? And also the like management at Quantic Dream just seems like so toxic, and some of the stuff they've said is just horrendous. Like, could Lucasfilm not have partnered with someone a little bit better?
That's what really it was a quandary me to Mark, because if anybody's got lawyers and knows how to investigate people, it should be one of the biggest entertainment companies. So there's got to be more to this whole thing, because I know we've got a lot of things out there about Quantic Dream, but a lot of it I found contradicts itself, because like a lawsuit won, lawsuit lost, like, things are going on. And David Cage is such a weirdo who I think really wants to be a filmmaker, but he wants to be, so it's such a weird thing. And I will say, I always give developers the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, and like, yeah, studios can do a jump. They can do what they want. I'm sure, like, I've been blown away by studios doing something outside of their field before. But this one, yeah, it's more of a problem with David Cage and with the management team there, and like just how everything has been handled. And like for them, like to just go off like the way they've done in court, if they've lost, if they've won, if they whatever, and like it, saying like, oh, can I lie since I'm not under oath, or like stomping and being like, oh, this isn't fair, whatever. it's just, I don't know. It's just shitty. So it seems like we lost Todd. He just messaged and said they're in the middle of a storm. So hopefully the first part of the recording didn't cut off in a weird spot, and we're just kind of continuing on, and hopefully Todd will be able to rejoin us. But let's keep going. Let's keep going with this Game Award talk.
David Cage shot him. David Cage came and shot Todd.
He heard that we were talking smack. And I have to mention, there's some friends of the show. We've had them on, I've had them on Holocron Chronicles, Brian from Pink Milk. So they're starting a hashtag Blackout Star Wars Eclipse. They are a LGBTQ plus Star Wars podcast. And they kind of they're taking this personally, right? Because if you don't know, David Cage has said some pretty nasty things about queer people, and some pretty like homophobic and racist and sexist and just some terribly nasty things that I don't really want to repeat on this show. You can go look those up because they're quite public. And yeah, so I'm having a hard time supporting this game, and that hurts because I want to play more Star Wars games. But I see this and I'm just like, okay, give me Fallen Order 2. So even like the game that I should be the most hyped about from the Game Awards is massively problematic. There seemed like my wife watched some of it with me, and she was just kind of like, it just seems like every game's the same. It was all like post-apocalyptic horror games for the most part. So was there anything announced or anything at the awards that kind of like stood out to you, Brock?
No, man. Being so disappointed by Quantic Dream was big time. I was like, damn. I honestly, I'll give him credit. That trailer was, I think, super kick-ass.
It was incredible. Yeah.
It was really good. But otherwise, like, yeah. You know what? Like, we just had like a break. I should have been like, I should look up what was shown off. But honestly, I'm not like remembering even what was there. What did you see?
Well, like that was a thing. They did announce a little bit about the Unreal experience. That was one of those, and it's out right now. Go play it right now. So that was one of those things. Alan Wake 2 was one that seems to not be super problematic. People have been waiting for this one. It is but again, more survival horror, more kind of in the horror genre, which is great if everything else didn't have the same kind of horror vibe. And I don't know if that's just the game industry right now. Like, we're a couple of years into a pandemic. Maybe that's on people's minds, and that's influencing the type of games that they want to make. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but Alan Wake 2 seems like it's a pretty popular one. Wonder Woman, it's by the Monolith, same people that made Shadows of Mordor. I want to see more of that, but super happy that Wonder Woman's getting a game. You already kind of made fun of Elden Ring a little bit. We saw a little bit more, some gameplay stuff of Suicide Squad, Killed the Justice League. First glimpse, very short glimpse though, of the Halo TV series. Mm-hmm. Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice, or Senua's Saga. Kick-ass gameplay trailer. And that was all real-time, in-game, in-engine, no cinematic or anything like that. Like, that's how good that game's going to look. So I was kind of impressed with that. But again, when I finally played Hellblade, which was actually this year, I was not in a great place to play that game. It was just after Bobby had passed away, and I was looking for something to play, and that was not a good choice at the time. That was not the kind of heavy game that I should have gotten into at that moment. So will I be in a better headspace to tackle Hellblade 2 this year? Maybe. That was something cool to show off. Todd has rejoined us. Todd, how you doing?
Damn winter thunderstorms taking on my internet. Who knows?
So the only thing you really missed was we're talking about some of the stuff that we we like to see, or anything was there anything that stood out that they showed in the Game Awards that kind of stood out to you? We've covered the Halo TV series a little bit, Alan Wake, talked a little bit more about Star Wars, Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad got a little bit shown off in various levels. What else? Anything else that stood out?
I'm kind of hyped. We're getting a Dune game. I'll probably never play it because it's on PC and I usually don't touch that. But
Right.
And it's like RTS, but I'm for it. Like, hey, if it's like getting rave reviews, I might have to check that out. It sounds pretty cool. It's funny. I'm like looking back at this list now of like all the things announced, and I'm like, this was 3.5 hours. I'm like, there's like 10 things here, and like none of it's new or like that exciting. I mean, Horizon for Forbidden West looks unreal. Like that's like one of my like favorite games in the last 5 years. Whenever it came out, goddamn, I'm like so excited to play more of that game. And Alan Wake 2 looks cool. Like I love that. I replayed some of that when the remake just came out, which is cool. I don't know if we really need more, but you know, I'm all for it. But that's like the ones that mainly stayed out to me. And I'm so like, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I'm so curious about this Golem game.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's going to be just horrible or like or really innovative and fun. And I'm hoping it's innovative and fun.
Metal Golem Solid.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, you know, when he breaks out, you know, a sword and starts killing. No, it's going to obviously be a stealth game. Looks like he's going to cause mischief and misdirect and things like that too. So that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, that Wonder Woman, we didn't get much of that, but the fact that it is by the Shadow of Mordor team really excites me, and that is going to be amazing. It was a game I never thought was going to be made. Wonder Woman getting a solo title, that is fantastic. Really excited about that. You know, ones that probably not on either of your radar, but maybe it is. I don't know. The fact that The Expanse is getting a game, and I love The Expanse. You know, season 6 just launched. We're getting essentially it's a prequel, tell more stories, especially with Drummer, who is a major character now. But she's a really interesting character, a lot of duality to her. So the fact that we're getting her, and that's actually a Telltale game, you know, the corpse of Telltale's back alive, and they're doing this. So it's very cool. I was
very confused by that. I thought Telltale was all but gone, and then here they are.
They're alive in name only. I don't know if anyone who was ever involved in Telltale is still around. I think Skybound. Is it Skybound? Owns that company now, maybe. Don't know. Yeah. And then the Star Trek game too. We don't have many Star Trek games, and the fact that we're getting one, and it's by people who were from Telltale that are making this game. So you're essentially going to get once more a very narrative game with some limited gameplay that works well for Star Trek. I mean, Star Trek's never been the most action-oriented series. It's all been about dynamics and storytelling. So I'm really excited about that. And when I looked at this list too, there's a lot here, but not a lot that like really blew my socks off. They had what was the one game that I thought was interesting? Wow, what was it called?
Tunic finally has a release date. March
release 16th.
Date. Very excited about
that game had come out. I forgot that we were still waiting on that one. It's been so long.
Yeah, we got that demo, and that was pretty much it. They've been pretty radio silent since, so that was exciting.
I'm hyped on that one.
Yeah, Cuphead DLC.
Finally.
I liked that they actually did like the live music thing for that too. Like
that was great.
There was some good moments in this, but it was stretched out for so long, and there was so much weird stuff in between. Like, I really think they need to focus on condensing the show or doing something maybe like doing it somehow differently when it comes up. But before we get into like what we do differently, Todd, did you find that other game that you were hyped about?
I think there were some that just I didn't know what to pin them as, and when I saw the name, the style of game, it was called Nightingale, which by from ex-Bioware devs. But then they said it's a crafting survival world game, and I'm like, survival and crafting in a weird world, and it sounds like it's more maybe a share world experience. just the visuals look cool, but it just when I heard that, I'm like, I don't think I want to do any of those things. So yeah,
Those games have never worked with me.
Yeah, that's a hard one to go across. The big surprise though was the fact that essentially Nintendo said, "Have fun. We're not playing," even though in the past they've been there. They had a relationship, and I laughed at the the awards list, and obviously a lot of people disagreed with the awards, which perfectly fine if you do. But the fact is that the most egregious thing when I saw the awards was Metroid Dread won for best action game, and who goes up? The man with probably the least amount of charisma in gaming, Doug Bowser, who reads a report on the back of a note card. No devs there, and it's like, no wonder they don't bring Doug Bowser out to anything. Man, talk about.
Yeah,
it was just weird, awkward.
Yeah, he's no Reggie. That's for damn sure.
No, and it was just a shame. The other thing I think they could have done out with that DokeV Korean, K-pop song that I'm like, are they trying to make this game into something? Because I saw no point to that.
I don't lie, Todd. You're just frustrated that you can't learn all those dance moves. You've had that downloaded on your Spotify since that day. See, Brock's been practicing. I know.
Did you see the karaoke video that Charlie uploaded from C2E2, Mark? I think you might be mistaken at my skills.
You do have some skills. Any awards that you guys thought stuck out? Like, yeah, that kind of deserved to win. I know a lot of people are like up in arms, and I don't want to go through every single award. So maybe even just game of the year. What did you guys think of It Takes Two being the winner?
Dude, I love that game. Shocking, but what an incredible game.
Did you play with your fiance? How did you play?
Yeah, okay, did. On the Xbox, loved it. Loved it. Yeah.
I've heard about the theme that's about parents broken up and divorce themes, but I heard it's not like in a negative light. So, I mean, did you take that away from that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm trying to think back. It's been a while now, but yeah, it's a little depressing, but I thought overall it was a great story. I really enjoyed it. It definitely took some big swings and risks.
Awesome. I just downloaded that one.
It was just so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, you and Lauren should stream this game.
That's why we downloaded it. So during our last stream, we had some people watching and commenting on what we should play and that kind of stuff. And that game came up, and one of her friends actually texted her and was like, no, I was like, because she commented and then she texted her afterwards, like, I'm serious, like, you should really get this, like, it's free on Xbox if you have Game Pass. And she's like, Mark has to have Game Pass. I was like, yeah, of course. And so she was like, yeah, you should do that. You should play it on stream. So that's going to be coming up. I don't know exactly when our next stream will be with the holidays and stuff coming up, but yeah, we're that's on our list of stuff to tackle. So follow me on Twitch, _Canardian. We're going to be tackling It Takes Two.
Chris Johns has promised he will play this game with me, so we'll see if that happens.
All right.
Another broken promise with Chris.
I was very happy that Metroid won at least action game, or was it action adventure? Right?
Yes.
Because action and action adventure are two different categories.
Yeah, I think adventure, you need puzzles. Essentially, action adventure, you need puzzles with your action.
Yeah,
I think that's the main change.
Action was Returnal, and then action adventure was Metroid. So I was happy to see Metroid win something. The one I had a problem with, or like a question about, was it like the fan voted game or whatever? It was like
yes, fan voice.
Halo was even in the running for that. Like what? How? It came out 2 days before. Like how?
It made no sense. It made no sense. Yeah, nobody had played the campaign. They were already voting for it, and it just felt like it was just a get hype moment. It really should have been something that could have been voted for in the game proper.
Yeah. So anything else, Brock, for you that stood out? Like, well deserved.
No, I mean, I was most caught off. I had so little interest in it. I'm like, I don't know who won, but yeah, Halo winning was very odd. You'd think it'd be in the running for next year's Game Awards, not this year, especially since like no one had really played it at that point. Very, very odd. Like the voting obviously came in before the Thursday, so it probably came in like the week before, so no one had actually played it. Like very strange. But yeah, It Takes Two winning was a real surprise, and it's nice to see like it's not technically an indie, but it is. So that was cool.
Yeah. I think my award I was most happiest about was Best Narrative and Guardians of the Galaxy winning. Obviously, you had a lot of great games with lots, but what I took away from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, it is now my favorite version of Guardians of the Galaxy, which says a lot about that game. And I know that game, when it was before it came out, people were like, oh, this game's going to be trash. It's not going to be very good. And there we go.
I really have to get back into that. And it's a shame that so much has taken me away from that game, like from Riders Republic to Forza to Halo to like back to Fortnite, Pokemon, like just so much stuff just keeps taking me away from that game. And I keep going like, no, I gotta play Guardians. And I just haven't yet, but it's on my list. I want to really give it a run.
Mark, we've got 2 weeks until our couchies are coming up. So all I will say is we've got to fit in that. I have a couple of games on my list that I still need to play. Kena, Halo, and I've got to think of another game. There's another game I wanted to like at least get close to finishing it. I think those are the two main games though that I want to finish before the end of the year.
Too.
Oh, Kena's so good.
Cool. I need to try that.
That's a game I'm like, oh, what did I do last on that game?
So if we were to run the Game Awards, I guess let's jump right into the bonus round. Let's finish the show off with this. If we were to run the Game Awards, what would you do different? How would you run things? How would you change the show that you think would be for the better? Brock, let's start with you.
What would I do? Not make it one big ad, that's for sure. I'd spend a little bit more time with developers, showcasing games, take them behind the scenes of the studio, cut off the ones that are all toxic, and really make it more of a celebration of the people that are actually making the games itself and not making it a trailer frenzy. I think would be the big thing. I would add some show tunes in there, do a little song and dance, and yeah, like even just having like, I don't know, more voice actors there and awards for voice actors and the music and, behind all the things behind the scenes that wouldn't really get that love would be really cool to see. And look, I know the marketing needs to pay the bills, but just be more strategic. There shouldn't be like this many ads in your 3.5 hours. Like clearly, I guess you're paying like exorbitant amount to have like Keanu Reeves there and stuff. But like, do you need him there? No, probably not. Like you don't really need him there. Like bring in some other people. Sure, you need some big names, whatever. That's fine. But yeah, don't like spend all your money on that.
Yeah. No, I love what you said. Like with highlighting the game developers. Have you guys been watching the Xbox? Shoot, what's it called?
No,
like the Xbox
Powered Up. Yeah, I and I were actually watching the first episode before we started this. Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff is so interesting to me. And if you do that, I mean, obviously not a 6-part special for the Game Awards, but even little vignettes of here's like behind the scenes. Here's how this game got started. Here's the indie dev team. And like, we started as like a ragtag group of like 2 friends that were like, thinking about like, oh, how could we do this? How could we bring this concept? Like, or even like look inside some non-toxic big development studios and like get the heart behind those big games. Yeah, I think that'd be so much more interesting than like seeing Keanu Reeves up on stage. And like, I love Keanu as much as the next guy, but like, yeah, let's get some of the people that are making games. So Brock, I love that idea.
I will build on that same idea. My wife fell in love with Inside Pixar, which are basically micro documentaries that are like 18 minutes long. One's about a writer, one's about an illustrator, one's about this person that does the music. And I'm thinking you could do micro, like 3 minutes long. And you tell people what a sound designer does, but make it entertaining, bring their personalities forward. And this is what you make to bring the development team. I don't want to bring up a developer just to accept an award because that doesn't really reflect their personalities or what they do. And if they can thank people, obviously we want them to still be able to do that. So I want to see developers and telling people what they do and why it's valuable, why it makes the games we love the way they are. Same with voice actors. And I think what you could do with a voice acting crew, they could bring their voices and do something humorous, kind of like the Oscars do the opening, like, where they recap everything. Wouldn't it be funny if you had like the voice of Nathan Drake doing basically a scene from Seinfeld with one of the grunts from Halo, the voices, and just getting to do something different to say, this is what the power of voice can do, and do different things, or maybe recite a line, a scene from a famous play that has depth to say, we bring this capability. And so I think more of those type of things that add in high value, show the industry why it makes gaming unique. And I think you're absolutely right that doing those type of things really differentiate it. I think another thing that was missing, which the Game Awards did previously, but I don't know why they stopped. And that was called, I don't know if they call it the Icon Award or Legends, where they highlighted the pioneers of gaming. They had Ken and Roberta Williams one year, talked about their role in really bringing gaming up to where it was today. And I thought that was great. And for some reason they stopped. And I think that's what's great about gaming. We've got people now that have been gaming for 40 years, right? They're probably going to retire. We need to reflect on their careers and show people these are, as much as you have great directors like Steven Spielberg, you have all of these great developers and people that made gaming possible. The pioneers that greenlit Xbox, the people that decided that we should do certain things to make gaming come alive. And I think doing more of what they did with they did some cool segments. What was it? Gamers for Voice or Change, or where they highlighted like some drag queens that were also into game streaming. They had Khalif Adams doing his highlighting with it. I like those things, but we need more of those to really show the culture of gaming as well.
Yeah. I completely agree. I like the Game Awards when they have some heart rather than, like Brock said, basically just marketing. One of my most memorable things from any Game Awards so far was the developer from That Dragon Cancer a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Anyone who could watch that and still kind of have a dry eye was like something's a little off, so like it's that kind of stuff that I find you don't always get it at award shows, and games can be so personal like that. And I want those kind of personal stories rather than just like, well, our marketing machine engine came up with this concept and we are happy to deliver it on all platforms. Thank you for your DLC transactions. I don't know. It lost some heart this year or something, but there were those little vignettes, and I'd love to see them expand on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think if you have a category, every category does need to be on stage, or like be presented on stage, show all of the nominees. And if there's games, I want to see what's unique about that game, or something of a person who created that game, and say something a little bit about the game, that brings it closer to heart. So I think we need more of those moments, because quite honestly, how long would it have taken if they did every award, they showed people from the crowd, especially like the esports people or the teams. Everybody says, I don't know who these people are. Well, guess what makes them even harder to know? If you just say their name and never show who they are, or what makes esports interesting, or what do they bring to the table when they play. It's not for me, obviously, but still people that it means something to. You got to feel slighted that, that's your team you follow, or the person you follow, and he's not even represented. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a text on the screen. Yeah, for sure.
So should Jeff Keighley? I mean, if we're making it ours, I also don't think you have Jeff Keighley as the host, or he's fine.
Oh no,
but I felt like
gone. I'd cut him so fast. He'd be the first one to fire.
He's too friendly to certain people that I felt like it. I'm like, Joseph Ferris. I mean, when he does that, I mean, it makes it feel like there's a bias, even though he doesn't control the awards. So, I mean, who would you guys have as a presenter, or would you have a presenter? Would you have a main person, or would you bring in people who love gaming that might be more famous?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. Idea. I mean, you could probably rotate through a list of actors or comedians or someone that like games and is personable and non-biased. And I mean, anyone that follows me on Twitter may have seen that I called out Jeff Keighley on Twitter during the whole Activision thing, and you know, basically said like, you're up in arms about Kojima, but like, you know, misogyny and racism is kind of like, oh, that's too much for me to comment on. Like, fuck off. So sorry, Henry. But that, you know, like yeah, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. So like, get anyone, or just get Jeff to be a little less like, I'm doing this so I can meet famous people and be friends with Guillermo del Toro. Like, I don't know. They just, something's got to change there.
No pre-show either. Why would you have a pre-show? That's so dumb. They had a pre-show. They showed some cool stuff there. One of the coolest games actually shown was in the pre-show, and it was the craziest game in the world. It was basically about an Indian woman who was taking on past suitors, and it was, I forget what the name of the game. It was so hilarious, but it was like skateboarding in it, cooking, fighting. It was phenomenal. I'd have to look up the name of it, but yeah. And I like the music to a certain extent. I think those moments are cool, showing the power of music within games. So I think we could keep that around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that can change and things that can stay the same, but I think just, yeah, like condensing it and just having it flow better or something, like it would be a great start. And then, you know, all the other things that we've mentioned. But yeah, I think, yeah.
If you do want an alternative to the Game Awards, obviously we have all the publications that do theirs. But if you want one from the industry, I believe the BAFTAs in the UK, they do one on gaming, which is pretty cool. And then there's also GDC. This is the developers vote for those awards. It is broadcast now, but it is pretty dry. So it's like you do get one or the other, but we could get a better mix that makes it entertaining, has some maybe reveals still, but we don't need 85 reveals, maybe 4 reveals.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what? How about this? Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation, maybe somebody else that's big in gaming, they are the sponsors, but they don't get anything highlighted. They are the pioneers of the industry. They fund it and take out all of the bias and everything like that. So it gets to be fully funded. The industry gets to be celebrated, and we don't have to worry about being inundated with ads.
That could be neat if they could all agree, and you'd know they'd be like fighting for like, no, we're top build. No, we're top build. Yeah, it'd be, you know, so yeah. That'd be an interesting. I don't know that, and that's a tough thing. Like, I don't know what any of the solutions are, but I know like some stuff needs to change. So I guess we'll see what next year brings.
Well, Mark, you're going to hate the fact that I've already lined up 25 advertisers for the Couchies.
Unreal.
I
as
know.
long as I see some of that money, I'm not going to hate you too long, but yeah, we'll see.
They're paying in NFTs, Mark.
Curse you.
Well, you know what? You'll get to hear our words in 2 weeks, and then you can complain about us and the fact that, you know, we had Kojima come on and talk about us next game.
Those NFTs, that's going to pay for Finn's college fund. Enough of my Mando helmets and everything else. That's what we're going to get. It's a Board Monkey NFT. Let's do this.
Well, I think that is it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. Brock, once again, thank you for joining us. This was a pleasure. Sorry about the snafu. Like I said, thunderstorms in Minnesota in December are a rarity, but we're back.
I don't know why you can't control the weather, man. It's like,
yeah.
Come on. No respect. No respect for your Canadian neighbors.
My mutant ability is not surfaced yet, but yes, I apologize for that.
One day soon, when you get your 18th booster shot come 2032, you'll be producing powers.
I'll be able to make a light mist or a slight breeze.
Nice.
I think I asked that to Sean Capri once on like one of his shows, like probably the Yumi or the what's one of the just the Pants Patreon podcast or whatever,
Yeah.
where he just I think like, what's your useless superpower? Like shooting spaghetti from your fingers or something like that. Like, just like, what would your useless? So there's something to leave on. Like, let us know your useless superpower. I want to know. But like, just like a superpower that like it does absolutely no use for the world, but that's what you can do.
You can only write things in bold.
Sure.
Bold font. There you go. Oh boy. Yeah. So thanks, Brock, for joining us. Tell people how they can follow you.
I'm on Twitter like all day at Brock Mclaughlin. I sometimes write for different websites, but I'm around. Just find me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm like posting cute selfies, and then on Twitter I'm usually ranting.
Best looking man and best dressed man on Twitter.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I want my award for next year. Okay, at the Game Awards. Best dressed, baby. Best dressed. Watch the fashion show.
Dapper Tux is going to be coming after you for that one. But
that's fine. You can get in line.
I was going to say, I think if we set up a cage match, I think you'll come out.
I think I will. I will.
It'll be a suit made out of Pokemon plushies.
Yeah. I'm taking on the string bean himself, Dapper Tux.
Fabulous. Well, with that, we will say our goodbyes. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at TOxtra. If you want to game with me, I'm Spartyon98 on Xbox and Switch, and Spartyon1998 on PSN.
And I'm the_Canardian on Twitter and Instagram, and just Canardian on Xbox.
And Switch.
Right.
That's right. That Brock needs to dust off. Oh, well.
I need to dust off.
With that, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brock. And as always, just remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.